Today I fucked up by locking myself in a hot car while my BF had an MRI. My boyfriend and I had plans to hang out. We've just started going out and we're long distance, so we don't get to see each other often. So whatever day we're free we try our best to see each other. The plan was we would hang out after his MRI. It was the first MRI he'd ever had, and I knew nothing about them. So I stayed in the car for COVID purposes. He asked me before he left if I wanted the keys for the radio and I said no. Big mistake, cause when he left he locked the door. And it's hot out here, probably like 26 degrees Celsius. It was probably about 10 minutes after he left that it became unbearably hot and I didn't know how long he was going to be gone for. This was all my fault because I didn't think that some nice cool air would run out and I would be trapped in a locked car. I tried to drink the old melted ice that was in a coffee cup to cool off and it tasted like sour milk. Soon after I just said F it, and opened the door. Honk honk honk. I'm in this big busy parking lot but the car alarm going off with no way to reach my boyfriend cause he's in an MRI, with no definitive time he'll be back. Tried to call because I was in the city in a large parking lot without knowing which building he went into. People were asking me what I was doing there, if it was my car, giving me shady looks. After some uncomfortable conversation, I locked the car from the inside and just ditched. It was 30 minutes before I got a hold of him. Too long didn't read. I willingly locked myself in a hot car until I couldn't bear it, drank cold nasty water to stay alive. The car alarm had to go off for 30 minutes after my escape while people thought I was a creep. Well, you found the right place to post this. Pop the hood, disconnect the battery, problem solved. I've just pulled the fuse for the horn in the past. No tools necessary. For those complaining about 26 not being hot, it's not the ambient temp that's the problem. It's the fact that a car with no air conditioning will quickly skyrocket to near 50 degrees. I'm a dog handler and am aware of instances in the UK where in moderate temps way under 25 degrees where dogs have died within an hour. Most notable was a case 2 or 3 years ago where a police handler left a dog in the vehicle whilst training. They either forgot to turn on the AC before they left or there was a fault, but the dog died regardless. I'm confused. How do you get locked in a car? Have car manufacturers stop making manually operating locks on the inside? Most remote locks have that ability. When you arm a car, even when you unlock it from the inside and open the door, the alarm goes off. Has happened to me. And are kids old enough to be left alone, but don't have their own keys? Today I fucked up by saying fuck in front of my toddler. She proceeds to teach the word to other toddlers in her daycare class. This morning, as I was getting ready to take my toddler to her daycare, I stubbed my pinky toe on a table leg and cried out fuck. It was bad enough that blood came out underneath the toenail and I had to clean it a bit. As I was fussing over it, my daughter was just sitting by the front door, quietly observing everything. Fast forward to me picking her up from her daycare, and her teacher tells me that she, playfully, simulated hitting her foot against a table leg, said fuck and play washed her feet, and did it a few times. Apparently, by the end of the day, at least 3 kids said fuck at least once in class. Fuck. And it turns out, some of the kids haven't even started talking yet, so the good ole F word may have been the first word for some of them. But fuck. Too long didn't read. I stubbed my pinky toe on a table leg and cried out fuck in front of my toddler. She taught the word to other kids in her daycare class, some of whom hadn't even started talking yet. My uncle was pulling the car to the door of the hospital to pick up his wife and infant daughter. This was his second child and the first was in a car seat in the back seat. It was raining cats and dogs and someone cut him off as he tried to make his way to the specified location. He uttered fuck in what was a frustrating moment. His son in the back seat had only been talking for about a month, promptly took up the battle cry. A constant stream of fuck, 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 as he pulled up to the wheelchair with his wife and new daughter. A helpful nurse assisted him in getting newborn into the car to a chorus of fucks from the little guy. And of course they then helped his wife into the car to the same rousing chorus. He said between being mortified, half drowned, sleep deprived, looked down upon by a prim and proper nurse, and his wife giggling, he knew not what to do. Both son and daughter grew up fine and have inadvertently taught their own kids to curse. Circle of fuck is about today I fucked up a thing. Apparently I said this as a 2-year-old at my grandma's house when I got stuck on the stairs. My legs were short and I found it difficult to hoist myself up after I'd extended one onto the next step. Grandma asked Mom where I could possibly have heard something like that. Mom admitted that she may possibly have said it once while struggling with her old vacuum. Grandma promptly bought her a new vacuum. My dad tells this story all the time. When I was about 3, my parents went to the doctor for an ultrasound of my soon-to-be little brother. On the car ride there I asked them why we were going to the doctor. My dad said we are going to see the heartbeat. Well, while we were in the waiting room I was apparently looking all over the place for the heartbeat. I kept asking my dad where the heartbeat was and he would say, "We'll see it soon." Finally I got really frustrated and yelled at the top of my lungs, "Dad, where is the heartbeat? I want to see the goddamn heartbeat." He said all the dads in the waiting room were trying to hold back laughter and the moms did not look pleased. My sister's first word was fuck, repeating our nan after she had hit her elbow on the wooden arm of a sofa chair. My mother, needless to say, was less than impressed and 30-odd years later still won't let nan forget it. Someone had to do it. Every daycare, school has one. Today I fucked up by adding some adorable little shrimpies to my aquarium. Okay, so we recently got into this hobby thanks to a grandparent and fairs who think animals are prizes. We started out with 3 common goldfish. 2 did not make it the first week, but one was an absolute tank. Gerald. He managed to survive us learning how to create a stable environment for him. It's been about 2.5 years and he's in a proper tank now with his BFF goldfish buddy Eugene and a pair of golden dojo loaches, Mizuchi and Danu, as well as a school of zebra danios. Now some of you may well already know where this will go wrong, but anyway we thought it would be neat to add some Amano shrimp to our tank to graze on the soft algae we get on the river rock and some plants. I had looked into having them with the goldfish and it seemed they would likely to be too fast for them, plus we have log caves and lots of plants the shrimp could hide in. While researching adding the danios, added just before the shrimp, they are great tank mates for all our big boys. I managed to cross some wires and think that the shrimp were also okay with goldfish and loaches. Okay, cool, right? We decided to add them. Except they are not. Loaches absolutely love little shrimpies. And of course, our loaches hunted the shrimp into extinction in like 48 hours. Unless a few have found some crevice the loaches can't reach, though that's unlikely. Too long didn't read, got mixed up in safe tank mates. Our loaches hunted the shrimp into extinction in like 48 hours. Unless a few have found some crevice the loaches can't reach, though that's unlikely. Edit, Grandma. At my local pet shop, the shrimp are sold as live food. Ghost shrimp probably are, those are like cent. 50 a pop, but Amano shrimp are a much more expensive snack. Thought the shrimp were gonna give the rest of the aquarium some fish COVID. It's a concern with the loaches eating live shrimp. They seem okay so far, but we will be keeping a close eye on them. Kinda have the same problem. I got a tank full of guppies and tetra, so picked up a couple freshwater crabs knowing they would be fine with the other fish. What I forgot is an inch-wide crab would not be fine with my almost 4-inch-long catfish breeds, and while they did a good job hiding for a while, eventually were eaten by the catfish while molting. So now I believe I'll wait for more crabs till the cats get their own tank. The tank mates you have chosen for your goldfish are a bit odd to begin with. Loaches and danios are considered tropical fish, meaning they prefer their water on the warmer side, between 78 degrees and 81 degrees, and most goldfish thrive in colder water, 70 degrees 74 degrees. However, I've been in the hobby for a while and I've seen people do weird shit with their tanks and somehow it seems to work. Depending on your tank size, a good mate for goldfish are banded high-fin sharks. They're good algae eaters, but they do get very large, so you would want to transfer them to a pond in the long run. When I was a young man in my early 20s, I got interested in African cichlids. I ended up, years later, breeding them in 125-gallon community tanks. At first though, I had to learn by trial and error. I too thought that about a day I fucked up a Louisiana banded shrimp would look great in one of my tanks. They are red and white striped and really look good in the tank. Knowing that cichlids are aggressive fish and the shrimp was rather large, I figured it could defend itself. I was to learn, it did very well. 3 days after introducing it into one of my tanks, I noticed one of my Africans was not visible. No big deal, Africans build little caves and will defend them to the death, and this particular one was a common fish that was only $10. 5 days later my deep water Haplasidochromes electra went missing. Now I'm concerned. This was a $30 fish in 1979. I decided to stay up one night with all of the lights in the room off except for the one in the tank. What I saw was astounding. The shrimp went fishing. It perched over one of the cichlid's caves and dangled its claws over the opening. When the fish came out, the shrimp grabbed it and all hell broke loose. I hurriedly grabbed a dip net and rescued the fish. It turns out that I was worried about the wrong predator.